We'll get started here in a couple of minutes. I thought you were saying I was unbalanced.
A little bit. Yep, the way. Yep, that way. It was completely sideways.
Commissioner, we do have a quorum. Yep.
All right. Good morning. I'm Dave Sullivan, Chairman of the Flagler County Tourist Development Council. We're ready for a meeting here this morning. It's October 18th, 2023. It's about 9:03, and we're in the Government Services Building in Bunnell. So with that, would you all please rise, and we'll rise, not raise, and we'll say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. Just for a quick moment of silence, as we ask God to bless all the citizens of Flagler County and our first responders. Outbreak of hate and discontent around the world. All right, thank you. We'll get on with the meeting. Thank you all again for being here. We have a quorum. Pam Walker is excused, and so I'll get on. I think we've all been introduced before, so we'll get on with the meeting. And the weather's changed, which I guess it's okay for tourism. We've had a lot of hot weather, so it's kind of beautiful outside these days. So with that, I'd ask, we'll look at the meeting minutes from our July 19th meeting, and I would entertain a motion unless there are some changes that anybody would like to make.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion,
Second.
and we have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of accepting the minutes from the July 19th, 2023 meeting signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, aye. The meetings are approved unanimously by those here. All right.
Excuse me,
next item-
Commissioner.
Yeah, right, we've got,
Read into the minutes.
right, I've got some, excuse me, so before we do that, as at the July 12th, was that the date or was it the 18th?
19.
Was the 19th, right? Now on a little sheet. So it's this was for July 19th, I believe, right? Okay, because it says 12. At the July 19th, 2023 TDC meeting, the following items as documented as a conflict of interest per Florida State 112.313143 4A. The following items need to be updated in the minutes. Item 7A, D. Mondrian of Hilton Garden Inn did not participate in the vote. Item 7A, L. Robinson of Hampton Inn by Hilton did not participate in the vote. Item 8A, or L. Robinson of Hampton Inn by Hilton did not participate in the vote. And item 8B, S. Baker of Hammock Beach Golf Resort and Spa did not participate in the vote. And item 8B, again, L. Robinson of Hampton Inn by Hilton did not participate in the vote. So I ask that we add those items to the minutes. So I need to redo the motion on the minutes.
Sure, absolutely. So moved with the addition.
Second.
We have a second, so that the minutes are updated as per what this motion. All right, thank you. Sorry. That's my fault. Just there sitting in front of me. All right, item 3, financial reports Request the board approve the financial reports listed below. A, the revenue report. Are we going to talk about that or just as submitted?
I can talk about that a little bit because we got for your packet, there was the August numbers, which remember is activity that primarily happens in July. And we were down 3%, and that left us at year-to-date 4%. And although we are starting to now see the effects of the downturn, if you will, and we've been lucky because a lot of communities saw them much sooner. But we've been fortunate, of course, the inflation and state politics has played a huge part in that, and we will continue to see our numbers to be soft. However, we will probably end the year, we got preliminary numbers with up 3%, and our goal for next year, this fiscal year that we're in, is to remain flat. So keep things as close to last year as possible. But with that, that's all my update.
All right, so on the revenue report, we would want to accept that with a motion.
I make a motion.
Second.
On the revenue report, item 3A, we have a motion and a second. Is there any comment from the public on that? Seeing none, back to the board. All those in favor of accepting the financial report, revenue report, items 3A on the agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And that passes unanimously. There are no noes. Now, budget to actual, how are we doing on that?
Good. We, in your packet are our fiscal year '23 numbers. We do, according to this, there's about 100,000 that we'll put back in reserves, although those numbers aren't final yet because they're still closing out books. But at our meeting in January, we will give you that update of how much we've put back in reserves from this fiscal year, or last fiscal year, excuse me.
All right, back to the board to approve the budget to actual report, item 3B.
Motion.
So,
I'll second.
all right, we have a motion and a second. All those, any further comment? Or any public comment? Saying none, back to the board. All those in favor of approving item 3B, the budget to actual, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And that passes unanimously. There were no noes. All right. Marketing report. Item 4A, the June 2023 marketing report. Guess who's going to do that?
Courtney.
All right.
In June, we had 133 newsletter signups. The organic event referrals were up 47.7% year over year. And Atlanta continued to be the top driver of out-of-state traffic to the website, with sessions concentrated on the webcams page and the Things to Do blog post.
All right. Any comment on the numbers? Just,
I have a question.
yeah.
About how many newsletter recipients do we have, or total sign-ups? Have an idea?
A little over 20,000.
About 26,000.
Yes.
Atlanta, actually, letter, or people are just happen to live in Atlanta?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
It says Atlanta was the top driver of the out-of-state traffic for June. I can kind of agree with some of that because I had a lot of people that came from Atlanta, but were they knowing about us because they went on the website, or?
Yes, this is the website traffic only. Yep.
And when they were coming to the website, they were looking at the webcam and then the Things to Do blog post. So they were maybe searching Things to Do, Palm Coast.
In June, which makes sense for our summer
Which is good
travel.
for us.
Or any further comments? So, did I ask for a motion on this already? I think I did.
Nope.
No, I didn't. So I need a motion on item, marketing reports, item 4A, the June 2023 marketing report.
Motion?
Second.
Motion and second. Any public comment on that? Obviously none. So back to the board to approve the motion to approve the June 2023 marketing report. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? That item 4A passes unanimously. The July 2023 marketing report now.
Okay, engaged sessions to the website numbered a little over 30,000 in July. And an engaged session is a session that lasts longer than 10 seconds, or it has a conversion event, or at least 2 page views. So these are people that are actually, looking and engaging with the site, not just pulling it up and jumping off. And then our top partner referrals were Marineland Dolphin Adventure, Equestrian Adventures of Florida, and Princess Place Preserve.
All right, any board comments on that? Yeah, I'm interested that the Equestrian Adventures of Florida was the second largest.
People are looking for outdoor things to do.
It's consistently in the top.
Yeah, they're also the probably 2 most unique things that we can do in Flagler County.
Right, those 3 are pretty much always on top.
They're always like that. I didn't realize the Equestrian was always that high.
I think a lot of people are looking at the Princess Place Preserve cabins, too. 'Cause it's such a beautiful place and it's unique to rent one of those and stay out there.
And they're typically booked.
I believe that.
And they're building more cabins, right? Did I just hear that?
Yeah, in our Board of County Commissioners meeting on Monday, we approved building at the River to Sea location, some cabins. And part of that is also, at Marineland, they're tearing down some of the buildings and putting in a new University of Florida building.
Oh, the University of Florida tore down their old dorms. They're putting in new dorms.
Right, right. So there's more emphasis by the University of Florida there, so the families will be, and I think it's a place people want to be. I know we stopped that, there are foundations out there, but it was stopped because of when the hurricanes hit and the water went over, it created a whole question, then we had COVID and all that. So I'm glad to see we're moving out on that again. That'll be good.
Great.
So I need a motion for item 7B, the marketing report for July 2023.
Motion?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. I don't see any public comment. All those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Negatives? No. So that passes unanimously. We're on to the August 2023 marketing report.
Okay, in August, the restaurants and bars page saw a 63% increase in organic engaged sessions. And then blogs as a whole averaged a 78% engagement rate. That's 16% higher than the rest of the site. So people are enjoying going to the blog and learning about things to do here.
Good. Further comments from the board on the August 23?
I have a question about just looking at the flyer specifically. Is the reason why we choose to use Yelp over Google or any of the other sites, or is that just a easier feature? Yelp instead of?
It's what our website is able to integrate. They do TripAdvisor and Yelp. Yep.
All right, and for each of these reports, you've kind of emphasized one thing or another, but pretty much it's consistent for the 3 months, the way it's presented, right, the items. All right, then I need a motion to approve the marketing report for August 2023.
Motion.
Seconded.
A motion and a second. No public comment. Back to the board to approve the motion for the August 2023 marketing report. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 No negatives. That passes unanimously. All right, on to the, Shelley is here. Please come forward.
Kelly Show.
And let's have the tax collector's office report.
Good morning, good morning.
Morning.
Shelley.
Doing it from here. Oh, wait.
You just think you are. You just think.
There we
Just
go.
keep it. Don't run it.
It's
Yeah,
magical.
yeah. It's got nothing
It's
in
very
it.
magical. All right, so good morning, everybody. I'm Shelley Edmondson with the Tax Collector's Office, as you all know. I hope to show you maybe a couple of things a little different than we normally do, but here's one that I'll just bring back to remind everybody. I know we don't have a lot of new people in the room, but where the 5% tax goes that we collect. So again, 60% to promotions, the 20% to the beach restoration, and that last penny goes towards the capital projects. We ended our fiscal year September 30th, and well, here is the collections for this 22-23 fiscal year was just over $4.5 million. That was up, as Amy said, from last year. It's the highest year that we've ever collected. Here's the trend. It's always kind of nice to see the trend. Are we following? I don't know why that keeps fast forwarding on its own. I'm sorry. The yellow, that top line yellow was this past year. You can see it follows the same trends as all previous years, your highs, your lows, your peaks, your valleys. Any questions about that?
You don't include any inflation adjustments for this?
Nope, these are just straight numbers. So a collection comparison, really what I just wanted to point out here, your single family homes, the three highlighted types, the condos, the hotel, motels, that's the mom and pops, not the hotel chains, but those were the guys that were up. But your single family homes saw almost a 25% increase. Now that's obviously more inventory and things like that, but that's where you guys saw the biggest increase. So I thought that was important to.
That one's important because it shows occupancy percents.
Well, this is a report that Amy does get. I know that she works with a lot of this data, but that was what was most important I wanted to bring over to you here. Do you have any questions about that?
Great chart.
All right, so here's what we collected in July. You were up in July. August, slightly down, but still over $500,000. Oh, and then September. Any questions about those collections? I think we just kind of talked about it with Amy. I think this, unfortunately, may be the trend that we see. I'm with Amy. I really hope to see this stay flat in the next year. Would be great.
Yeah, and that's why I asked about inflation, because if you throw inflation in there, you know, it's probably not.
Right, we don't make those adjustments on our end. We just give you the straight numbers. So I did reach out to some of my counterparts in other counties, and I heard back from a few and just said, hey guys, what are your numbers looking like? So just to give you an idea of the folks like me in the other counties, Duval said they were down 7% in August. Orange County, it was their fourth straight month of year-over-year declines. St. Lucie was down 16% in August, and Walton County, the fifth straight month of decreases, down 4% from their prior year. So we're doing great. Tell you a little bit about the accounts that we have. Since I saw you the last time, we got almost 80 additional accounts. So that's good. Here's what the accounts look like. Mostly single-family homes. Well, and the condos and townhouses obviously exceed that. But 44 partial single rooms, 22 duplexes, 723 condos, townhomes, the RVs, hotels, motels, and chains, we have 16, and then everything else, 57. Any questions about that? And Miss Felicia, this is where they're at.
Thank you.
So 804 in unincorporated, 490 in the city of Palm Coast. We have 186 in the city of Flagler Beach, and 27 in the other three cities. And those are all up from the last time we spoke in July.
Great.
So we did ask a few questions about to our taxpayers. We reached out and said, hey, why are your numbers down? Or, you know, we just questioned them as part of our procedures sometimes, we'll ask the questions. So what happened this past month or this past quarter? Why are your numbers look so significantly different than prior months? And so here's what they had to say, that they're not getting as many rentals as before, so they lowered their prices per night, and they're still not getting all the reservations that they were. They said Oktoberfest is still open for reservations, and they're usually booked by now, and they're not. They noticed that people are booking on shorter notice versus a month or more in advance. They are hearing from their clients that, people are preferring to fly places since COVID's over, domestic and international. I know I have a lot of friends who recently in the last few months have flown over to Europe or whatever, so I think we've probably all seen that. The cruise industry is back open, strong.
Great discounts.
Yeah. A lot of them talked about 2021 being an amazing year, so they're starting to certainly feel it. And then the cost of living is expensive and people are spending less. And that's just some of what they say when they call and talk to
All good
us.
points.
I'm sorry?
They're all good points.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at it and you say, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and that's the taxpayers. That's the one sending the money to us. So that's what they're feeling out there. But we're still doing our due diligence in our office. So we're still doing enforcements, putting notices on doors. In the last 90 days, we had 8 enforcement actions, 3 pending tax warrants, and I think it resulted in about $10,000. It was right at just under $10,000 in revenue from those actions. We re-signed with our CPA to do the audits, but I think we've talked about this previously, but these CPA audits, we spend about $15,000. We typically, and right, it's about keeping them honest, making sure that they're doing it right. But typically, it only results in about $4,500 in unpaid revenue that we're able to collect. So an average loss of over $10,000 just to do these audits. So,
Your office is very good at what they do.
oh, I appreciate that.
And
I do
Shelley,
appreciate
is
that.
that-
But it keeps them honest and it makes sure that everybody's doing the right thing.
Is it like
Suzanne will tell you.
a requirement? You need to do that,
Yes,
right?
it is
Yeah,
part of
yeah.
our interlocal,
Part of the thing, yeah.
that we do that. I just want to remind everybody that it's not, cost effective, but it keeps everybody honest and doing the right thing, so.
Have you visited with others to know if their audits actually pay for themselves?
Our community is a little unique. We only have so many hotels versus the mom and pop. So how many audits we do versus the type of, if you were to go to Volusia County, they have 3,600 hotels to choose from, which could result in different revenues than just a Airbnb renting out a house. So if we audit this guy versus the hotel, so that, I guess that's probably where it's a little different. Our inventory is definitely stacked a little different than most counties.
I have a question. So James Moore, the city also has audits to them. Are your audits mandated by the state? I know ours are at the city. We don't have any options, but James
Our
Moore
office
Associates.
audit is.
Is, okay, got it. So
but
this is on top.
And this revenue is part of our office audit. So yes, I would say yes, it's part of the audit that's performed by the whole county. They do the clerk, the tax collector, the board.
Got it.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And this money is included in that.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, other questions. My comment on this is this report with things looking, maybe a little down indicates why it's more important than ever that the tourist office exists, because it tells us, well, maybe we'll have to do some additional things and, just re-energize to make sure that we push the tourism. It's not just going to come. It was almost a little bit of automatic during.
They didn't have anywhere else to go. They couldn't fly out of the
because we want to keep that money
country.
coming in, and with inflation, we really do need to increase it.
Right.
So anyway, that would be my interpretation.
Hey, I got just that one slide you showed earlier in your presentation that showed the increase in the single-family homes. You know what I'm talking about? There was one thing it said in there about that one. It says potential and then actual. Is that
That's
just like
potential nights.
based on
So if,
100%?
right.
Okay,
If
yeah.
100% occupancy versus what they actually,
Gotcha. Okay, very good.
100% potential versus what they actually rented, yeah.
We're sold out, how much more money we would have.
I know, yeah.
Right.
We need more salespeople out there, man. We
Right.
gotta.
This
One,
is
two,
a
three.
report that we do
Yeah.
give to Miss Amy and her team each month, and I know she dissects a lot of this data. We don't typically share this stuff, but this one was important. I just thought it was pretty significant. You know, single families is what saw the most largest increase.
And like you said, it probably did new build, that, or,
Could be. There's definitely more inventory. So
yeah.
more people getting in
Everywhere
the game.
you look, yeah,
Yeah.
there's more out
Well, I
there.
think also just the inflation and economics, the way they are right now, some people have decided, okay, I've got 2 extra rooms, I'm Airbnb them.
Right.
Yeah.
They're-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amen.
all of their expenses have gone up, so
Yeah.
they're looking for a way to make money.
Some side hustle.
Well, I'd like to thank you for that slide that you had where you guys actually went in and found out from some of the customers
Yeah.
what they thought the issues were.
13, I
Because
think it was,
the
yeah.
county is seeing a 7% decrease in August. But as I spoke at the last meeting, we saw the decrease starting in May, which May is inherently supposed to be a slow month for the state of Florida as far as room nights, May and September. But we were taking it June and July. Last year in July, we lost $70,000 from people not traveling for all the efforts that we made here. Now this year, again, as Amy said, there were some other extra reasons why people weren't coming to Florida. But at the same time, your slide with all the reasoning, it goes together. So we don't want to just blame it on one thing. And like the commissioner said, so this board being here and all these things that we do in the community, we will have to think out the box to stop that 7% because we're gonna have 4 months in a budget next year that we have to win.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm competitive, so I'm down with anything we need to do to win because we have to win, not just to save face for our particular hotels or whatever, but for the county as well because we live here. So Palm Coast is beautiful. I have a company now that is coming. They're building, they're opening in Volusia County, but all the people want to stay here because the guy took 1 weekend here last week and thought it was the most beautiful place. So all the staff is coming to stay up here with us. So this is the way we saw the city. But yeah, I think like the commissioner said, we need to get ahead of next year to make sure that we don't take these losses and we all can enjoy this little cushion that we have here by thinking out the box. We can't let, just because those counties have 16% drop and this, that, and the third. My website that's up for my hotel, I had Jacksonville asking me about it in the summertime. Oh, how did you get that? Because Mama ain't done. I want to be out there, you know? So we have a team that does that, and I also use the stuff from TDC, so I use a little bit. Thank you for that slide. It was awesome.
Very welcome.
So, thank you, Shelley, and great
Welcome.
report. Keep
I
going.
got just a few more.
Oh, I thought you were done. I'm
No,
sorry.
I'm all, just about. So, I put this up last night and then, my staff told me that we changed the color this year. But some of the community outreach that we do the, slip in the tax bill. And as we all know, the tax bills are going out, in just about a week or two away. It's gonna be lime green this year, so hopefully it draws more attention. It's been this neon orange for the last few years. We still do our PowerPoint display, just reminding everybody if you're here for tourist tax or if you're renting your house. So as you know, we get a lot of foot traffic in our office. And then we have our anonymous reporter on our website. I will tell you that we just launched our new website last night, refreshed our website, so it has a new look, but there is still a report place. It's inside the tourist because where it was on our last website, we had people giving all kinds of information like my neighbor can't drive and please take their license. And that's not what it was intended for, and we can't do that anyway. That's between them and the state. So this is on the tourist tax page now, where they can submit if they know somebody's renting and not reporting. To give an update, we've had 2 anonymous reportings in the last 90 days, we do average 1 to 2 tourist tax related. We did do a radio with, you guys familiar with Toby Tobin, Walker Douglas? I went on their radio podcast, and we talked about the short-term rentals and tourist development tax and told everybody in the whole county that was listening what it was and how they had to do it. So that was fun. And I think this might be the last one. Just want to let you guys know that we did renew our contract with Granicus. That's the company that does our online monitoring for short-term rentals. They keep us with an up-to-date listing of activity and details every 3 to 5 days. They screenshot every activity that's done on those rentals, so when they take their ads up and down, that sort of thing. And then we have reporting capabilities through that program. But they're on all the major platforms, Airbnb, VRBO, HomeAway, Booking, Flipkey, Expedia, and a whole bunch more. So just want to let you know, we did renew that contract. We do use it. We're out there finding them if they're renting. Ms. Johnston will tell you taxes are only fair if everybody pays their fair share. So if they're renting, they got to pay it. So we did renew that contract. Does anybody have any questions about that?
Again, great job, Shelley. You're
Thank you.
Yeah,
full office.
thank you.
Very interesting.
Thank you.
Great
Well-
briefing, good information, really.
Very good.
Fantastic. Right
Well-
up to date.
Thank you very much. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shelley. All right. Now for our, we're down to agenda item 6. And what this is the Fund 110 fiscal year 24 discretionary event funding. I think we have one to be briefed on. Is that right, Amy?
Yes, Commissioner, thank you. This is for a soccer tournament that will happen in January 2024, so a time of year when we definitely need people in our hotels. This is the Florida Elite Winter Invitational. It is boys and girls soccer players, under 9, under 14 age groups. We do have someone from the organization here if you had any questions. But they have, we have done business with them in the past. Great client, and we're happy to have them back. Great for our community.
Morning. Please introduce
Morning.
yourself.
Chris Brunner, Florida Elite Soccer Academy. This is our 9th year hosting this tournament down here in Flagler. This year, we always fill up all of the rooms and the fields, so we're always limited to just the amount of fields we can possibly fill. So there is a limitation. This event in the winter is for the younger age groups, the U9 through U14. It's different than the one we host in August, that it'll have a lot more of the northern teams come down, northern North Carolina, just because of the weather difference. It's a great spot. Like we also mentioned in the last event, we have the potential to bring more. So every national league we compete in, every time they come down in this area, they're like, yeah, can we come back? So that's on all of you guys.
Yeah, you just need more fields, right?
We just need more fields, more hotels, and more fields. So in that order.
If I could pose a question, I concur, but could you quantify, like, how many more fields could you use?
Oh, no.
Yeah, because you can say unlimited, yeah.
Don't get me started, because I will say unlimited.
Gotcha.
But no, we can fill, typically, like if you look at Lakewood Ranch or you look anything on the West Coast when they build these 20-field complexes, the national leagues that we're in, ECNL and ECNL-RL, when they require, like we host 2 of their showcases down here, we could host probably 6. The limitation of the field, so a field minimum, they usually start at 12. They say if your complex has 12, we can host, this 400-team event, and then it goes from there. 20, that's everyone's dream, but what we're seeing more and more with the weather, and as the Parks and Rec guys will tell you, it's now become where the essential is not only a field, but also a synthetic field. Because week to week, we're just
Torn up.
Yeah, we're just rolling water off the fields. So
Understood, thank you for that.
So I know we just finishing up our Parks and Recreation Master Plan for the county, and that is one of the things, additional fields are in there. So we hope
Yeah,
that
we hope
we'll
too.
begin to build.
We could fill them.
What's your position with Florida Elite?
COO, field water remover, really anything that needs to be done for the kids. I also organize the scholarship fund, which is a lot of where our, extra funds come into. We did see an increase this year in Flagler, about 25% more financial aid applications. So that's a growing thing. We're currently under our largest fundraiser event that we do every year annually. So that's my side part of what I do, but that's the part I care most about, making sure every kid plays.
Did you see an uptick in soccer kids?
Players, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have never, since 2014, we have never decreased. It's always increased. Where we get into a problem comes right back to fields. It's being able to fill the field space, never a problem. Being able to accommodate everything is the problem. So then especially when you lose fields to weather and conditions, now you have an increased amount of players for a decreased amount of space.
What happens if you have terrible weather on a weekend of these tournaments?
We cry. So we cry. Yeah, so weather is, no matter how much we prepare and plan for these events, nothing to do with anything other than the weather. Weather makes a great tournament because we had, even last year, we had great weather leading up to the Friday. And then that Friday downpoured, and it was just, let's see what it's going to be, and had to make decisions. We were lucky to get through it, but weather's everything. Cancellation can happen, but we don't like to talk about that, so we have to.
Can I ask 2 questions? I do have to abstain from the vote because I have already signed this contract earlier this year. But there was something that was different this year, and I just want to ask you as the chief officer, was there a particular reason why you guys went from Avanti Travel to Traveling Teams as the travel agent?
Yeah, Traveling Teams, and we were with Avanti for a long time. Traveling Teams provided us with the customer service we needed internally more than Avanti could. Avanti, we had ongoing issues with them being able to secure rooms for our teams internally to travel anywhere, and that became more of a customer service issue with their services. On the tournament side, this is the first year we'll be using Traveling Teams, so we would love that feedback as well from our hotel partners.
Yeah,
So we don't know yet how they're going to be able to.
So after you do this one, make sure you email me.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
And,
Was there a second?
Well, you answered it.
Okay.
You answered both of them, because I wanted to know, the part was, why did you guys choose them? And I do understand that they are a bigger company because they're actually partnered with Hilton Worldwide. So when I get something from them, it comes from Hilton Sales.
Gotcha.
But normally, when I dealt directly with you guys before, for all these years, it just came from Avanti, and we had to go through them. But then, yeah, you answered.
Okay.
So, any
My
additional
last question, I
questions?
guess, would be, do you ever see a need for indoor facilities in Florida?
Yeah, we would love it. There's a couple of spaces up in the Jacksonville area that have half. It's basically a roof, but it's still exposed externally, and those are invaluable because, again, of the weather. Indoor facilities would be great. Indoor facilities in our world, in the soccer world, are ridiculously expensive. And they're kind of limited to what you can use them for once they're built. There's a facility up in Chicago that has 2 full-sided fields inside, and I can't imagine what you fill that with all year, but we know what we'd fill it with all year. But yeah, they're fantastic.
In Michigan, I played at, and there's indoor 2 full-size fields with a restaurant in the middle, a double deck, so parents and everyone can watch their kids. And
Yeah, motion?
They're just wimps. We played in the snow in Indiana.
Get that approved? Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
Well, I was going to say, financially, if there are more partners like Florida Elite that are willing to fill those fields up full-time, then it's something that I know in our area, even with kids, I have 4 boys, and youth development in our area, I feel like, is very difficult. U8, anything under U8, competitively, in Orlando, they're really kicking our butts. Actually, I applied with you guys, but there's no U8 competitive in Palm Coast yet. It's only in Jacksonville or St. Augustine, I believe.
Yeah, U9s were very thin this year down here, which was different too, because typically we'd have 2 teams in that age level.
That's usually, is that because of the field space too, or is that because of the sign-up?
Both. In this case, I think it wasn't field space. I think it was just the interest or switch to something else. But that younger age groups, U9 through U12, are typically the larger, will have 3 or 4 or 5 teams deep. This year it wasn't. Maybe there's a gap of birth in that range.
One day, I have enough money.
Yeah, he's got enough
right,
for a
that's half a
team
team.
himself, Nick.
He's
He's
ready to
got
go.
his own.
All right, any further comments? And, you know, we don't approve these, we recommend them to the Board of County Commissioners. So is there any, is everybody in concurrence that we're going to recommend these to this?
I'll be
event
abstaining
to
from the
Board
vote.
of County Commissioners.
Yeah, I won't vote.
Make a
No, we
motion
don't have to move
approve.
this one, just recommend it.
Recommending.
Okay,
So no vote?
we don't need
Just
to, no,
recommending.
you've said we're recommending it to the Board of County Commissioners.
Yes, we need a motion.
Yes. Johnny, make the motion.
I make a motion to recommend approval.
And I second.
All right, good, we have that on the floor, we've had the public comment. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. All right, thank you very much, and
Good luck, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're down to item 7, which will be our quarterly marketing update from Courtney. I think that's whoever's going to do it. Item 7, quarterly marketing update.
In July, we focused on the 4th of July and then summer classics like water activities and seasonal foods. There was a 4th of July themed itinerary, a feature on Hot Diggity Dog in Bunnell, and then a blog on where to rent boats and other watercraft. In August, the content centered around Labor Day weekend activities and pet friendly. There was a feature on turning your Labor Day weekend into a golf getaway at Hammock Beach Resort. And then to take advantage of National Eat Outside Day, we had a blog on picnic spots. And there was a curated user-generated photo roundup of pups visiting the destination. Those always do well because people go in and try and find their dog and see if they were featured. And it's cute puppies. And finally, in September, we had a focus on RV camping and outdoor adventures. There was a feature on Beverly Beach Camptown Resort, and that did really well on social. Then there was also a lot of social posts highlighting ecotourism activities like kayaking and bird watching. And then we had another Meet a Local feature. It was a Q&A with the owners of Twister's Ice Cream Cafe in Palm Coast. And then finally, we ran several display and social ads in the last quarter with a focus on ecotourism and oceanfront dining. And all of the ads performed really well. We had over 2.3 million impressions served. But we like to see the Miles of Trails ad, you know, with the bikes right there on the boardwalk. That performed the best, which is great because we continue to focus on ecotourism.
Great
All
job.
right.
Thank you.
Yeah, and just to clarify from the update that she just gave versus earlier, so what she recaps earlier is strictly website traffic and data that we receive. This report shows more of the other outside marketing activities that she's working on with our vendors, whether it's the actual advertising, writing blog posts, websites, social media. So that's kind of the difference between the two. She does a great job.
All right, well, thank you. Thank you, Courtney. Any comments on the overall quarterly marketing update?
Great job. Thank you.
So back to Amy for the Tourism Development Office update.
Thank you. And just to further echo the information that Shelley had shared with us, and Commissioner Sullivan and Lisa, that just continues to demonstrate that although we're Florida, it is competitive, and we're all vying for the same people who want to come to Florida, to the beach, to experience these outdoor activities, and that we cannot let our foot off the pedal with marketing, advertising, and promotion. And I know we get sometimes there's this perception of getting comfortable, and but this just shows that we've been very fortunate, and we need to continue to invest in marketing, because that's why we're all here, is to get those people into our community, stay in those hotels, spend money in our shops and restaurants. So, when people wonder why we keep putting so much money into advertising, this is why. It is still competitive. But for my first update is actually a capital project update from the city of Palm Coast. They do provide quarterly updates, and this is next to the last one. They are still on time, and they are estimated to be complete the first of the year. So January's TDC meeting, I will have someone here from the city to kind of give the full dog and pony show. But they also have offered, if anyone would like a personalized behind-the-scenes site tour, they would be happy to do that between now and then. So if you're interested, just let me know. And here are some pictures, or not. No, they didn't show up. That's strange.
I think it was that error that popped up earlier from reading the stream. I saw when you opened it up. I don't know. I think they are in there. You're not going crazy. I just think they're not displaying.
It's the next one? No, they're not there. Oh, it said error.
Hey, Nick, is this the pickleball court one?
It is correct, yeah.
Pickleball.
The regional racket facility. Yeah, exactly right. And the trailhead, absolutely. Yeah, that's a
And
huge
the
component.
yeah.
Yeah,
Is
huge
is the racquetball, I mean, the pickleball thing, do you have to be a member? Somebody asked me about that the other day.
Yes, and we actually had just had that overview from our Parks and Rec staff at the city. Yeah, you don't necessarily need to be a full member, but there is a daily fee that would be associated with using the facility.
Okay, so
but-
if you and I want to go play pickleball, it's a
You would crush
$20
me.
rental or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Excellent. And I look forward to that day.
Yeah, keep waiting there, quarterback. QB, you just keep waiting.
There's also two mini tennis court, micro tennis court, or no, what do they call that? Is it mini tennis? Micro tennis, and so 12 courts total, 2 of them are dual lined for micro tennis and pickleball. There we go.
Here we go.
Amazing.
They really were there the first time.
Thank you, Councilman. Yeah, they really were there. Look at the progress they made. Empty. So yes, they've provided some updated photos. To me, it seemed like it moved very fast. They were on time, but it's going to be pretty exciting to see it come to fruition, especially it's our first capital project program through the new grant.
So Johnny's waiting for that to happen with soccer fields.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's similar to what Johnny was explaining earlier, how this overview right here, specifically this view right here, you'll be able to watch pickleball play while you're kind of on the mezzanine per se. Similar to what Johnny was saying. If we change these pickleball courts out for removable soccer fields, we might be in business.
Yeah, and
Johnny says
what
no
I-
problem,
what I-
I'll be right there.
What I say about that is we go, oh, well, we'll never have enough room for soccer. But think about 10, 15 years ago, if somebody says, we're going to build this new game.
Right.
And we're going to build a municipal facility that's covered with 12 courts and all that. People are, what are you talking about? That's never going to happen. Well,
Yeah.
there it is. So it's,
Soccer's coming,
I mean,
Johnny.
it's thinking out
I've
of the
heard him
box.
say it.
Where
Your headlights are on.
oh, okay, I'll go fix that. Proceed.
Yes.
I'll be right back.
The next item is the Cultural Council update. So you're already up to speed on that, Commissioner. So any questions pertaining to this, but they are rocking and rolling and have offered that one-on-one site visit for all your questions. So just let me know. And
How are they budget-wise?
They're good, at
What I thought I saw.
least from our contributions. Right. Okay, great.
Maybe we can do a little pickleball tournament out there with,
Yeah.
Amen to that.
you know, I mean, it's like they do soccer and,
I think we got a ringer over here. He's trying to get me on the pickleball court.
no, I meant like tourism coming in and stuff, Nick, unless a
You're absolutely
large
right.
crowd comes watching you play.
The city of Palm Coast just had the Pink Army pickleball tournament. I think we had over 90 participants.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
Yep,
Yeah, great to
yep.
see.
So next, I'm going to turn it over to Deborah Naughton, our Destination Development and Community Engagement Manager. She's been, as you know, working on getting the local arts agency, Flagler County Cultural Council, up and running for a few years now, and we have some great milestones that we have hit, and so she's going to give an update.
Morning, everybody.
Morning.
So the first, you've seen this slide before. It's kind of the 3-year plan that was started at the initiation of the founding board back in 2021. And you'll see that it's been filled in with many green arrows, which showing our success. The yellow are the things that are in progress. And the development of the website is going to be complete and will launch on Friday, and I'll give you more information about how you can see that. So that's kind of a big yellow check mark that's going to be turning green soon, and that's a big one. And then in phase 3, under Development Arts Festival during shoulder season, the yellow check mark is showing in progress. And we just received funding from the City of Palm Coast's Arts and Cultural Grant Program. So we will be using that to develop a quarterly program. Perhaps it'll be jazz, but that's still being worked out. So those are great progress. Next, we are working on a strategic plan for the organization. So these first 3-year phases are almost complete. So we're already working on what the next 3 years are going to look like. And once that process is done, we'll bring that information to the board. So next slide, please. So here's kind of a summary of where we've come from since we started. We have 11 seats on our board currently. Actually, this slide is wrong. It should be 8. Or currently, we have some open positions that we do need to fill. So if you know anyone interested in sitting on the Flagler County Cultural Council board, please contact us and we will work with them to do that. Of course, the Flagler County Board of County Commissioners has a commissioner appointed to our board, which is Commissioner Pennington, and our great advocate, Commissioner Sullivan, is the alternate, and he has been, boots on the ground from day one, and we appreciate and love having him a part of all of this. Our administrative accomplishments, the biggest one that's the news is that the service agreement is complete and signed, fully executed, and that those TDC funds have now been deposited into the Flagler County Cultural Council bank account. So they have some great capital to start working with and doing some marketing and promotions and program development, and whatever the results of our strategic plan are going to dictate happens there. Marketing, Facebook has 567 followers. There's a monthly newsletter, which I left a copy of, the most recent one, in front of everyone there. We have our brochures. We have some marketing materials, pop-up banners, and tablecloths, things like that. Again, the website's launching on Friday. Memberships, we currently have, I think it's 57 total members. This Friday, October the 20th, from 12 to 2 in the tourism office is going to be our annual membership meeting. Everyone is welcome to come. If you are interested, we'd love to have you. Please RSVP with me after the meeting today so that I can count you in. Community engagement. We've been out in the community working with arts partners, historical partners, cultural partners. We have been gifted from the Palm Coast Arts Foundation, the Turtle Trail Project. So that is now a fundraiser and belongs to the Flagler County Cultural Council. And they will be managing that. So that's a great asset for us that we're excited about. Our next upcoming event for community engagement is the Fall Arts Festival, and that's in partnership with the City of Palm Coast. And that is going to be on November the 12th out at the Town Center Park. And that is a county-wide event, not just a Palm Coast event. So we are seeking partner vendors from all over the county. I did not put it at your place, but I do have a vendor application form here if you know of anyone that may be interested in participating in that. Our partner organizations that we are working with through. So next slide, please. So you've been hearing a lot about AEP 6, which is the Arts and Economic Prosperity Study that is done nationally through Americans for the Arts. And we worked very, very hard to go out into the community and survey those nonprofit organizations. Through that process, we identified 58 nonprofit arts and cultural organizations. We partnered with 16 of them and attended 22 events. We collected 764 surveys total. We submitted them to Americans for the Arts, and I put 727 because they were only able to use 727. The others didn't have enough information. The national rollout from Americans for the Arts for their overall report came out last Thursday. They had a national online meeting for that was attended by about 3,000 people nationwide, hosted by Rita Marino, and then they had some other stars on there, Josh Groban, people like that. Of course, supporting all arts. So that was great. Something that I took away from that meeting, and I thought it was really important, is, AEP 6, Arts and Economic Prosperity. Economics. But the other measurement that was equally as important was quality of life in the community. And they have provided a 63-page report locally to our community for Flagler with a lot of data about the economic development, but also quality of life. That was just shared with all of the participants in the study as well as the stakeholders. I hope all of you have gotten that email because I included the TDC board on that. It is a large report, and honestly, it came out on Friday, and we just haven't had a chance to really delve into it and give you some really good data or even answer questions. So it's my intention to come back in January with more information on that and have a chance for some Q&A on that. But there are the summary results are there, and you can see that 4.7 million is the total economic activity during 2022 from these arts and cultural organizations, and that an average of $38.29 is spent per person per event. So obviously there's a lot more to those numbers. I just wanted to give you a little something as a teaser. So that would be, that's it. Next slide, please. The other big project that we've been working on, which will be our next 3-year plan, is the strategic plan. We have contracted with Executive Service Corps. I think they're out of Fort Lauderdale. And we have been working with them, and you can see on the right side of the slide is kind of the plan process, and we're almost halfway through with those check marks of what that process involves. What we have done to date is that we have formed a strategic planning committee made up of 5 members from the TDC office, as well as some of those board members from the FC3. Internally, the Executive Service Corps has done an environmental scan. They've prepared surveys and conducting interviews, and we are working on facilitating those public focus group meetings. So Executive Service Corps has met with 21 stakeholders for interviews comprised of people from the Flagler County Cultural Council Board, government representatives from the county as well as some of the municipalities, TDC board members, arts, culture, and history stakeholders, and those have been very successful. And we got great feedback from Executive Service Corps that they were very pleased with the answers that they got in those conversations. Last Friday, we rolled out the anonymous and confidential survey online, and I put a flyer at your desk. There's a QR code for that. If anyone is interested, they can go online to the Facebook page for Flagler County Cultural Council, and you'll find that flyer the QR code, as well as a clickable link in the post. So, and we're going to keep promoting that. The survey is open October 13th through November 2nd, so we are going to be promoting that all over the community. We've asked our partners like Flagler Auditorium, the City of Palm Coast, to help us promote that and get that out. This is the community's opportunity, you know, and the flyer says, don't just talk about it, be about it. So, you know, if you want to have your say in how you want this council to look, this is the great opportunity. As a part of the survey, when you click into it, there's 4 opportunities, and you pick which one you would like to answer for, whether you're an artist or an organization or a community member. If you pick the first option as a community member, you go through the survey. At the end of the survey, you will be invited to participate in a focus group. In the beginning of November, Executive Service Corps is coming to our office, and over the course of 2 days, we will have 2 meetings where we will have focus groups and just, you know, very candid conversation with those people that have volunteered to do that within the community. So if that's something you're interested in, you're not one of those stakeholders that had the one-on-one interview, we'd love to have you on that list. So that information is there. The target date for completion of this project is going to be January of 2024, and it was funded through that agreement that we had by the TDC as well. So there is so much going on in the community. Community partners are working together. There's a lot of conversation. United We Arts, City of Palm Coast, Flagler Beach Creates, the historical organizations. It is just, it's you know, it's really rolling along, and I'm very pleased with its progress. So if I can answer, I'm not sure if I mentioned, I put a newsletter for everybody from September. So if I can answer any questions?
Questions for Deborah? We're moving
Like it's
right out.
moving along greatly.
And it's part of your out-of-the-box thinking that as we evolve the county to improve tourism too. I mean, that's make it more interesting for people to come.
Good job.
Yeah, great job, Deborah.
So any other questions? Okay, Amy, what's next then on your section there?
I just wanted to give the TDC board an update on the Eco Discovery Center, since we've been quite busy and a lot of action has been taken since
Phil down it.
July.
They moved it.
Oh, Deborah, you want to put back up please?
That was when I was out. All right, if you're going to be
All right,
wise, I'll
so
say, well,
I
thank
just-
God my car's not an electric car, or I might not be able to get home.
I'm sure you could find a ride. So some of you folks have seen a version of this presentation that I've provided to the County Commission and some other stakeholders over at the city. Councilman Clufus has received this. This is more of a scaled-down version, but we have made a lot of significant progress, and we were fortunate enough, with the help of Commissioner Sullivan, probably a month and a half ago or so, to invite Speaker Renner to our office for a dedicated time to really go through the project with him, answer any questions, give us his feedback, the good, the bad, the ugly, give us some tips and tricks on how we can better improve our project, because the County Commission has included this project as one of their legislative funding requests to the state for the budget of $10 million for appropriation. And the county commissioners had, I think, 9 funding projects in front of them, and they ranked them, and they ranked this project second as a priority. So we are very pleased and thankful for that. So this is part of the presentation that we gave Speaker Renner. We then took him out to the site so he can kind of get a feel for it, and it was well received, and is supporting it, and gave us some tips to keep it safe from the governor's pen come budget time. So we are moving forward with this, and with that, I'll go ahead and start. So just as a refresher, the overview, the purpose of, besides it being in the strategic plan, but it's going to provide a unique, immersive, and educational experiences for nature, recreational, cultural heritage enthusiasts, which involves residents, visitors, educational groups. It would serve as a key access point and gateway, not only to the surrounding parks and trails and the community's recreational amenities, but also just a representation of who we are as a community. The location, once again, is right between 95 and A1A off of State Road 100. It's 10,000 square feet. It'll be located on 23 acres of county-owned parcel. It's also within hundreds of feet of the newly constructed, very popular pedestrian bridge. Commissioner Sullivan says it's the bridge to the future. And hear this, because people say, oh, it's the bridge to nowhere, which not necessarily, but all this area here is 1,000 acres called Bulow Creek Headwaters Regional Park. And this whole area is ecologically significant part of the county, and this park here is currently under planning and design phase.
And I might add, it's kind of, when you have the trailhead where the pickleball courts we saw earlier are going to be, it kind of all begins to connect in. In
Yep.
other words, you're here, you know.
More
go
connection,
up
more
there, it's
connection.
all connected in. So I think it's getting it, Lisa, your point about the future, this is what we're going to have to do.
Yeah.
To make it just not the beach, but also the rest of the county is attractive for people to come in.
And it's much more easily consumable from this literal high-level view here of exactly how expansive the opportunity is behind there. Because when you're driving down 100, you don't necessarily see it from this view.
Yeah, you can't really see. So our center will serve as a trailhead. So I know, the community has a lot of questions about, they want to park right there at the bridge, which is great. But obviously, when you're asking for grant dollars, things happen really slowly but surely we will get there. And like I said, the county received a $1.5 million grant for design and planning, and I am part of that committee and that team that's working with the vendor who is doing that. There'll be a lot of community outreach, and this process just started a month ago. So be on the lookout for when they want input, but some of the amenities that are envisioned for the 1,000 acres, obviously trails, more trails, walking, biking. The goal is to open up for the first time ever public access into that park and into Bulow Creek, into the waterways for kayaking. So our center will play a large role in those services. This is more of a close-up. So we just did some conceptual. This is not by any means in stone, but we just wanted to show further build-out in the back and, just give people an idea of the center. But it will be a destination within its own right. And again, a service community access point to the Bulow Creek Headwaters Regional Park. There'll be opportunities for concessionaires, including guided services and outfitters. So back here is where we would keep, kayak, canoe rentals, the bike rentals, amenities within this parcel would include obviously public restrooms, picnic areas, a beach shuttle, Wi-Fi charging stations, playground, the bicycle trailhead, and indoor-outdoor seating. And this is a view from the backside. So on this side here, that's the space that's been allotted to hold and rent out for special events, meetings, indoor classrooms. It'll have a catering kitchen. Inside here, locally sourced gift shop, and on this end, office space for staff and community partners. So like the local arts agency will have an office there, and then we'll have a few that we can rent out to partners that make sense as well. Again, this is just conceptual. This is all part of, these visuals is part of the package that we're working on putting together for submission for grants and for state appropriation. But just to give people an idea of what's going to be happening center interior. Obviously, it'll serve as an information hub where we'll have maps, all of our brochures, our partner brochures, a trail guide for land and waterways, all of our parks, our other community attractions and points of interest, like our state parks, our arts and cultural facilities. Visitors can obtain all that information that they may otherwise not have been exposed to or been aware of that we have here in the county. There'll be interactive displays for all the partners. Could range from display panels and exhibits to multimedia presentations for all education and awareness. So this is where we would talk about littering and, protecting the dunes and all those other community initiatives. We would have ticket sales for those types of experiences to our local attractions and other various packages that we put together by working with our partners. Again, this is all part of that sustainable operating costs that we want to offset. We'll sell souvenirs and merchandise. There is a gift shop. It'll all be locally sourced merchandise, art, and related type of products, again, help generate the revenue. I know you've seen some of this before, but just continuing the visuals of type of displays. And this is when we talk about, why is there a need, and we give some data. And this is another report, recent report, 2022, that the state did, and the numbers are, and this is just one page of a very large document. But the good news is that people, especially with COVID, I think everyone recognized that people were returning to outdoors or introducing themselves to any type of activities through their survey. You can see the top 10 desired type of facilities. So we feel that this facility helps fill that need. And in 2021, there were 164 million outdoor participants just in Florida. We worked on a punch list, so we are pretty much shelf-ready to apply. We've done the NEPA study, so there are no historic or archaeological resources present within that parcel. So we are good there, no wildlife or tortoise creatures. And so now, one of the last things that we are wrapping up is the funding portion. So we have a budget, and one of the things we are working on, and we're probably about 70% there, is we contracted with a vendor to provide us a 5-year financial model that'll demonstrate a lot of the key assumptions regarding the revenue, the pricing, the cost, because the goal is that the cost to maintain the facility will be completely dependent on all of the revenue opportunities that will exist within the center. We will not have to touch marketing, promotion. That is not what we want to do. So we have been busy with probably 20 tabs of a spreadsheet that make Deborah and I's eyes cross. But it's fantastic tool because whenever it's something we will be able to use once we're open, because we have a line item that says kayak rentals. Okay, if we say $30 an hour, it'll automatically update the whole entire 5 years of what that looked like. Okay, what if we changed it to year 2, we increase it by 5? So we're able to constantly monitor our profit and make sure we're still on track. So right now, the cost estimation is about $13.3 million. Our share that we already have earmarked is $1.6 million, which is nice when we go to apply for grants. So there's the main one here that we've been working on the longest time is through the National Scenic Byway Grant. And we are waiting any moment for them to release the notice of funding, which is when we can start the submission process. So we are pretty much waiting on them. We're ready to go. We qualify it's an 80-20 grant. We have the 20%. So we qualify more than probably what we'll receive, but it's another source. This next grant is through the state, the Department of Commerce. They just recently released this. This is a rural infrastructure grant, and there's infrastructure for construction for tourism development-related projects. So again, we qualify, and it's a 75%. I think we could qualify to get $8 million. There's only $20 million in the pot, but even if we get $1 million, it's $1 million more we didn't have going into it. And then, like I said earlier, the county is seeking $10 million from the state. So with that, if we get everything that we've asked, we'll be more than covered. And so this is where we're hoping a lot of our funding for the project will come from. And this is just the last slide to show you all the partners that we've been working with that fully support the project. This is one of the slides that Speaker Renner was very pleased with all the regional partnerships that we've been doing with JAX USA and the Northeast Florida Regional Council. So yeah, we were pleased with his feedback, and I brought some of the visuals that we have been showing, and with that, I'll take any questions on that project.
I would just like to say thank you to all of the energy and our representatives that have taken the time to engage with Representative Renner, and at the county level, of course, Commissioner Sullivan. I just want to say thank you. And the presentation that you gave Representative Renner along with me, I'm incredibly appreciative of that, and I cannot say thank you enough.
Thank you. And we met with him last week as well, the day before the delegation, legislative delegation meeting. We had the opportunity again to be right in front of him in his office one-on-one. And one of his staff members was there and walked us out and is continuing to support and think of ways, what buckets that we can tap into at the state level to get this project through the finish line. Thank you, Commissioner Sullivan, for your support.
Hey, Amy, you probably covered it. How many parking spots is there? Did it say, or did I miss that? Doesn't have to be exact, but I mean, is it?
I think in the front, wasn't it 50, Deborah?
Is it about?
Yeah. back
80 in the
here.
back?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah, and one of the comments Speaker Renner made when we were telling him the concept and what we wanted to do, he said, is 10,000 square feet going to be enough? Is there room for expansion? And I kind of was like, well, I don't know. If you're going to help pay for it, we can expand.
I don't think we're going to put cottages there.
No, we won't put cottages there, but, we didn't do 2 stories because we were trying to save costs because to have an elevator is very expensive. So, we were just being conservative. But when he said that, I thought maybe I should go back and do a drawing with adding the elevator. But I'm confident we'll be very successful with what we have for now.
I hate to bring this up, but I was listening to the Palm Coast business meeting yesterday, and they were approving a parcel of homes, 200 homes, next to the Polo Club, and that ultimately is going to be a problem. How we eventually get the path down to connect in to the state park, which is a beautiful park. If you haven't been there, it's great. Outlook over the water and everything there. But I think it can be worked out. But it's one of those things that will come up. It doesn't really affect this part right here, but in the future, if we want to go all the way from one end of Flagler County with the trail over 100, all the way up to the Ag Center and all that, something to think about for the future.
And just to piggyback on that, I learned about something yesterday, actually, during the business meeting, the Sun Trail that is potentially in the works. I have no information regarding that. I've asked staff to reach back out to me with a little more info, but I'm not even familiar with that program, but that's something that...
Yes.
The TPO and Andy Nance has...
Yes, we've been working with Commissioner Dance. We have another map, a visual of the connectivity we want to do through the Sun Trail. And I also work with our lands manager, Michael Lagacy, so he's on top of that as well. So we're doing a lot of collaboration to tap into funds to continue connectivity, not only south, but north. And yeah, it'll be another great asset to our community, just from a tourism product development standpoint, because like Commissioner said, we do have just more than beaches. And we want to continue to diversify that product to have a strong product, because any community can say, well, we have bike trails, we have parks, but what are we going to do to stand out and separate us? And this project goes perfectly to who we are as our DNA as our community. And we hear time and time again, I was listening to your meeting as well, you know, I moved here, I heard it at our commission meeting Monday night, I moved here because of X, Y, and Z. And in my mind, I'm thinking, this is exactly the type of amenity, recreational, that the community, the residents and the visitors want to see. So I think having this center as the gateway to that will really help separate us from our partners.
Right, anything else? Because we'll start.
Full vision.
I just
There'll
have
be no community outreach because.
I have a couple more things.
I thought you were done. I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm done with the ecotourism. The other ones are just real quick. So our meeting in January, it's going to be very data heavy, so be prepared for that. I'll show you all the final year end numbers. Also, we have some new tools that get really in the weeds of some data in our community, specifically some key points of interest, where are people going in the county, how long are they staying. Stephen, you'll be glad to know that Hammock Beach Resort is the top spot. Also, we will have our annual meeting. Last year we had it the last week of January, so I work with the Chamber of Commerce to coordinate that. They help put the event on for us, so be on the lookout for that if it'll happen either late January, early February. Also this afternoon, Courtney and I have our first call with a possible new agency that'll help us with a lot of that creative and advertising that we so desperately need to have out there. So that firm's name is Aqua, and they were the winners of an RFP. So I'll keep everyone posted on how that goes. And tomorrow, I'll be all day at Matanzas High School speaking to about 370 students, their marketing and hospitality classes. It's through their career technical program that they have to share about what we do here and how everything that they're learning in the classroom, how it translates to the real world and a real job. So I'll be doing that. And with that, now I'm concluding my update.
Okay, so we're down to item 9, community outreach. Obviously, there's no one here, and we're not online, so that's it. There's no community outreach. So we'll go on to board member commentaries. So Lisa, I'll start with you.
I've been talking a lot today, but anyway, hi, I'm Lisa Robinson, the general manager of the Hampton Inn Suites of Palm Coast. Since we had our last meeting, Hilton had their Focus Brand Leaders Conference in Las Vegas the last week of August into the beginning of September, where they rolled out plenty of new programs for the 8 focus brands. Hampton being the #1 focus brand that is known in the world, my hotel, and then following with the Embassy Suites and Hilton Garden Inn. They'll have some new programs that you'll see if you're a Hilton Honors member that will roll out in January. It's a program called Make It Right. We're doing a lot of renovations. We know that Hilton Garden has the major renovation. My hotel will do a soft goods, soft renovation throughout the year. It shouldn't affect too many rooms because some of the things we're starting, like I'm doing chairs this week during bike week. So, I mean, it's not going to be anything rough. As we put together the budget, Hilton is looking for the dollar in 2024. So they want to make sure that they're getting the best out of their investments that they have in these different places. So we have to report as everything. We have to do a budget and do the bottom line. So what I found in this area, and it's helpful to be on this board, is there are 4 months out the year that after the revenge travel and all the rest of that, that we've taken some losses in people traveling to Flagler County. Now, this city has way too many things going on for people not to know about it. So collectively, we have to figure out how we can assist them into making sure that we have events that we're known for. When I reviewed the stuff, a lot of the stuff we eat and we piggyback off of Daytona's events, and basically that's why we put some hotels here, but we're our own city and our own place now. So we don't need to be piggybacking off of them, because we're better than that. So we need to use these facilities and all these things that we, all this beautiful stuff that we're building. I had a family that moved here, and you will never guess why they moved here. Can't guess. For the bike trails. The bike trails, you know? I have another family from England because of kayaking. So if we can use all these natural outdoor things that we have beside the beach, we love the beach, we can probably pull tournaments. I also did one in August at the last minute. It was a bike tournament. They did 20 rooms at the end of, because they had some kind of bike race. Every time when I'm out, these people are biking all around. Everybody's just biking everywhere. So we got to use the bikes, not just pickleball. And we have to use the bikes. We have to use kayak. We have to use, and I'll tell you what the months are. We, the end of April, after we ride off of cheerleading and a couple of college baseball tournaments, there's dead air time for 6 weeks between the end of April and all of May. But we expect for May and September to be slow months in Florida, because they are, period. But we can't be 2.8 miles from the beach and we don't sell June and July. We can't do that. We have to come up with something. And we are making, the sales directors and everybody, we're doing family reunions and working with people in the city to get stuff, but we have to, in the future, be known for something where we can bring our own revenue to our own county. So that was what I had. And so they were the months. So I just wanted to lay it out here so that everybody can go back to their boards and think about whatever that they have. We are known for this soccer tournament, you know, that's ours. We do that 3 times a year. It's awesome. We do Father's Day lacrosse, but then we do nothing else in May or in June. So we have too many resources here not to be pushing a little harder. So not to make more work on Amy and her staff. We're all here. We all sit on the board. We all can go to all these things and figure out what we can do to make sure that we're not flat in those months, especially when we have to report back to these other people. That's all I have.
Yes, sir. One thing, Courtney, I don't know, I got to look on the site to see, but do you know, does the Palm Coast Marina put in there like about Mystic Knot and Backwater Cat as far as like some water activities to do? Do you know off the top of your head?
I actually have I believe in the next newsletter, a feature on the Backwater Cat
Okay.
adventures, and then both are listed in the business listings on the website.
Are they?
as
Thank
well.
you. Thank you. I didn't even dig into that one.
And in that watercraft rentals blog that I mentioned earlier, I think it was in July,
Yeah.
they were mentioned
You
there.
mentioned in that, thank you, thank you. That Backwater Cat, the marina was sold to a different company, but still, we listed on the website, but Backwater Cat's like a 2-man catamaran, and they do like a 2.5-hour tour on the intercoastal, so it's a little pricey, about $140 a person type thing in there, and you gotta fill out like a $10 25-question thing beforehand, but it's something different if you're looking for something. And then Mystic Knot does boat tours and jet skis they have in there. Shelley was talking about some of the points when she talked through some of the people facing some of the challenges, same thing we're facing on there. We even tried a lower rate for some of the fall, but even with the lower rate, that doesn't drive people to book. You just kind of dropping your rate too low on there. It just takes too long to get back. So August was our hardest month, and we just we were down about 26% to last year, and everything. All other months have been pretty stable or ahead of last year, but We just, we lost, two-thirds of that gap was group, and it was just due to the size. Some of the groups just outgrew us. And so we, our biggest ballroom, about 4,500 square feet. So we're just trying to get, trying to find a little bit smaller groups in there, and the waterfront park, we went through that the other day just to see some of those updates there. Man, that's beautiful. That is gorgeous. We've been there a lot, and those paddle rentals, the PADL things up there, I know you have them up there by Marineland also, but that was really nice. Beautiful out there. That's it.
Thank you. Nick?
I appreciate the awesome comments. I know those paddle boards are also at the Herschel King Park as well.
Yeah.
That's such a great amenity, and
It
I've never
is.
seen anything like that before. Really tremendous.
I was like, wow,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
I think I've said enough for today. I'm so appreciative of not only Chairman Sullivan's time with Paul Renner and working with staff and being able to bring these type of projects before us. Again, just thank you. And the city of Palm Coast is making great progress on the regional racket facility, and I'm hopeful that next time we meet, we'll probably have something near the beginning of life, the genesis of it. So thank you.
Johnny Lujar, Oceanside Beach Bar and Grill, and the Flagler Beach Business Bureau president. Makes me feel important when I say that. Overall, this year has been pretty interesting. I think it started out pretty well, and then we start seeing a little bit of a decline. I spoke to a bunch of business owners, and some are doing okay, some are not doing so well. With the increase in inflation, pay wages, and as of September 30th, or right at the end of September, all of our tip staff went up another $1, and that's a very significant increase in labor for the entire year. Between that and food cost, it's getting more and more difficult for a lot of us restaurant owners, and we've been contemplating on how we can fix some of those. There was a very unique post that I just saw on my way in here, and it talked about cash usage over credit card usage. Where you got a $50 bill, you go and you use it, and it's always $50 cash, and it never breaks down. But when you use a credit card, you got 3.5%, 3%, and every time that's used, that $50 after 30 transactions is only about $5, and the banks pretty much eat up all of that. And that's tough. And I would say, for our business alone, we're talking about 6 figures in savings if we charged our guests that use credit cards or did a cash discount. And we've always been under the impression, hey, it's just the cost of doing business. We eat it, we figure it out. But more and more and more, as everything else increases, we're having more business meetings, focus groups, almost talking to these owners and saying, hey, how can we battle this? Other than just charging $20 for a cheeseburger. It's difficult. But with that being said, we're entrepreneurs. We got to figure it out. 4th of July not being in Flagler Beach over the past few years, with us not selling out of the hotels, I'm wondering if that could be a factor. That used to be one of the most sought-after displays in our county, and now it's moved over to the airport, which I've seen great success. And now without our pier again for the next few years, I threw a barge and bringing a barge over and kind of being laughed at, which I don't like. I like when we put ideas out there, we find reasons to say yes. We can find the money, but our local elected officials have not really pursued that. They just said it's too expensive, and I'm still waiting on a number. So the council might be presented something in the future, which I'm only going to support if it's feasible. But after I heard how much it's to move a barge and some of the stuff for the dredging, it might not be, but, I'm always looking for solutions. We want fireworks back in Flagler Beach, and that's something that we're going to continue to pursue. To echo our director's consistent marketing, that's huge. We, as a business owner, we've never really dabbled in marketing too much, and over the past few years, we've continually to increase our marketing budget and focused on that, and as we've done that, we're probably one of the few restaurants that are still okay. We're still up. So I commend that, and you got to keep spending money to make more money. Behind-the-scenes tour about the pickleball facility or the rack facility, I'm always down for that. Starry Nights, there's been a few upgrades this year. At our last meeting last week, we talked about on every Friday leading up to Christmas, starting December 1st after the launch of Starry Nights and First Friday. We're going to have a Santa Claus in the park from 6 to 8 every Friday for pictures with some hot cocoa and some caroling, which is going to be pretty fun. On Saturday, after the Christmas parade, that's very well known, we talked about a doggy walk. Think of it like a dog parade, but not on the streets, only around Veterans Park. So dress up your animal. After we've seen the great success that the Hangate surf competition had, I think it was Vern or somebody else had suggested the doggy walk, and fun. Everyone loves animals, and we already have a lot of people there for the parade, which starts at 1 o'clock this year. We're thinking about having that little doggy walk around 3 o'clock. Our next meeting for Starry Nights, which we encourage everyone to attend, is October 30th at 9 a.m. at the Flagler Beach City Chambers. Open for everyone. This is a county-wide event. And last but not least, we have Deck the Chairs. We have 3 confirmed people that are doing the Deck the Chairs. That's the most significant feature we have in the park. Any business owners, we did resident competition, which is pretty cool, where we had a North resident versus South residents, and they all got together and they did one, which is great. I really like to see some of the other cities, City of Palm Coast, City of Bunnell, even taking one on. We have 6 chairs left. A lot of the business owners, I'm trying to get away from only the same group that always continue to do it, so I haven't harped on them or pushed on them yet. I know we already have 3 committed for sure. Oceanside always does one if not everyone's kind of chomping at the bit. We're not charging any money at all. We used to do it to raise more funds for the event, but I'd rather put it into the actual displays, and maybe in the future we might charge again, but I love people spending the money on the actual displays itself. We had a really cool Nutcracker one last year, and then we had another live Santa one, which was really cool. We had one that looked like the pier, which was really nice. I love seeing the creativity, and with FC3 now blossoming, and Flagler Creates helping out a lot more in Flagler Beach, I love seeing the arts aspect of it. So if anyone is interested, all they have to do is get a hold of us, go to starrynightsflagler.com, send an email, but we have 6 left. So if anyone's interested at all, if any of the hoteliers too, please, by all means, you can deck out a lifeguard chair however you like, long as it stays out of politics. All right, that's all for me.
Please.
Now is it on? Okay. Felicia Cook, Marineland, Dolphin Adventure, and echoing quite a bit of what all of you have said as far as business and how it's going and what's going on. Interesting about, I saw the cash usage versus the CC also, and the funny thing is, I'm on the state board of the Florida Attractions Association, and a lot of attractions are going cashless, and I'm wondering how that's going to affect them, because if you go cashless, then every transaction is going to cost you. So, but at our annual event, that was something that was shared by a lot of the attractions, was that they were just going cashless, and the whole time I'm thinking, and therefore we're paying 6% to, So very interesting to see that pop up today. I don't think it was today. It was yesterday, wasn't it? Oh, okay. Okay. The other thing was, we're right there with you as far as wages, inflation, cost of things. All of it's gone up, so we've all got to figure out a way to get around it. We really do. I would just like to invite you to come out to Marineland. If you have not been out, come and see it. Come in the next 30 days. That's all I can say. And come and enjoy it.
All right. Thank you. Just a couple of thoughts. I attend the FB3 meetings in Flagler Beach, and there was a couple of things that are going to have a pretty big effect on the beach there, and John knows this well. The first is, as of next July, they're going to close the T, where Route 100 hits A1A at the pier. Starting in July, that's going to be closed. That intersection will be closed because of beach construction and pier construction for like 3-4 months. And you talk about intersection that will cause some problems. That's going to be, and, the hotel, also hotel construction will be going on at the same time. So I thought that was dramatic. I heard that, John, the other day. And then one personal note on out-of-the-box thinking. I have a grandson and his wife who does international Pokemon competitions.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know if anybody's heard
Yes.
about these. It's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
He's been to Japan, all over the country. They're out in, I don't know if they're in Las Vegas or Detroit or someplace else. But thousands of people. It's a very organized thing. There's prize money and this card thing. I just say, it's something else that you might want to look at to get. I know they have them in Orlando. They have them all over the country now, regional, local, and all that. So that might be something that'd be worth looking at for, it doesn't take a lot of space either. I know it's inside, but they're not running around. They're sitting at desks having I don't know if you've been involved in this, but it's pretty interesting, and it's a big deal, getting bigger. Remember we mentioned pickleball. Nobody thought that was going to 10, 15 years ago, and this Pokemon thing is a big deal. People still like come. That's another reason to come to Florida, and it can be done any time of year. So I just mentioned that as, like an out-of-the-box thing. We might look into that. I have a lot of information on that because I get constant. He's number 32 in the world now, and so so he gets to go to the ultimate competition in. Yeah, for his age group, he's 13. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. So and the drug dealers are using Pokemon cards now to carry cash when they go overseas. Yeah, seriously. Because they're so valuable, all these cards they have and everything. So there's all kinds of stuff going on there, and I just mentioned that's like an out-of-the-box thing. Okay. With that, any additional comments from anybody? If not, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. We are adjourned. Thank you all for being here.